symbolism that's actually straight up occult, like the Eye of Providence, or even like, symbols from ancient Egypt. Egypt is one of the original kingdoms of Babylon, right? Like, the Tower of Babel, the Gilgamesh, and all these guys. And they have lots of symbols that they've used through the eons and ages. And they've been burnt into our collective subconscious. And they're still being flashed in front of us now, probably more than ever, because of the pop culture and modern art being such a powerful vector to disseminate these symbols and to sort of get them into the sub-psyche of everybody. And these things, they're not, they are charged with power. They become almost like anchor points for spiritual influence that can enter your daily life. And you're better off without them. You know what I mean? There's no reason to have them around. It's kind of a shame that most culture is most pop culture and whether it's like Marvel comics or whatever, like everything is I don't think there's anything wrong with like superheroes in terms of like original idea of like, good conquering bad. But the problem is that every artist, every major like media outlet deliberately puts in occult symbolism, right? So they're giving you like a polluted product. They do it deliberately. Whether or not the buyer is aware of it or not is a totally different story. Many people are aware of it. And I became aware of it. I studied a little bit about it, and I started to look at the things that I had. And it became so obvious that most of the things I had, it's like flipping gang signs. It's like jumping into like gang territory in different neighborhoods. You'll see the tag signs. For most people, just try to keep an eye open around you. Look at the tags. If you live in an urban environment, try to start noticing the tag signs in town, and before you know it, you'll see that it's not just random scribbles. A lot of it is, but a lot of it is the same things over and over, and oftentimes it's like it's even gang related, right? This is like territorial. And it's the same thing with occult symbolism in modern texts. And all that occult symbolism, if you actually scratch a little bit behind the surface, it goes back to ancient Sumerian, Babylonian paganism, right? The Babylon religions. Be aware of what you have in your house. And what's really strange is that I remember back in my high school there was a teacher who wouldn't allow like her students to bring in their backpacks into the classroom. Now I went to like a private school, and she wouldn't allow the kids to walk into her class if they had like it was the 90s, and at that time what was really cool was like these trolls with the hairs that would stick right up, and people would have them dangling like a keychain dangling on their backpacks, and she'd be like, you need to leave that backpack outside of my classroom. At the time I thought, that's so corny, like that's so retarded, man. Like, what are you, like next thing you believe in fairies in the forest? It's so funny, man, because even before you become a Christian, when you're simply just a Buddhist that's been shown the truth behind the esoteric teachings, or I wouldn't call it truth, I would rather call it the reality behind the esoteric teaching. It's not the truth in the sense that it's the correct path, but there is reality behind it. Then they would say, yeah, sure, there could be items with a certain spiritual charge behind it. If you would come to Europe in the age of, say, the what is it, like the age of like when it was like knights in shining armor and stuff, they would have called it witchcraft and curses and things. That's all for reals. Weird, really weird. Anyways, just thought I'd share. And yeah, if you like the content, consider hitting the like button, subscribe, and leave the bell notifications on so you know when I drop a new video. There's a lot of weird and interesting things that I've been making plans to put into film and talk about. And yeah, so until next time.